All right, we'll go again for another hour and a bit.
Cool.
It's going well.
Alrighty. So
All right.
got your questions?
We're live, yeah.
Oh, you're already recording?
Yeah.
Oh, you recorded that?
Don't worry, that's definitely getting cut out.
That's definitely getting cut out.
Oh,
Lucky I
we're
didn't
back.
lift up my shirt.
Self-made again, second part of whatever that was.
Yeah, what's
It's
that
me
going to
and,
be
me
called?
and Stacy. One thing that sums up Stacy very well that just happened is we went to the toilet in the studio here, and I went in after Stacy, and I looked to my left, and she's folded the toilet paper.
I'm so OCD, it's ridiculous.
I can't believe it.
I do it everywhere though. Everywhere I go, even if I'm just in a public restroom, I'll fold the toilet paper when I leave.
That's what you need. You need people like that in the team.
Well, it's nice for someone to come in and be like, oh, isn't that lovely?
Oh, man. I want to kick this one off with a story that you told me a long time ago that I just died laughing at.
Oh, yes. This was is when I very, very first started with Jace. And at that time, I think I was only doing a couple of days a week with you.
I think you were only working 2 days a week at that point.
That's right. Oh, because I still had my salon. So I had a beauty salon at the same time. So I was doing a little bit of both and just getting a feel for it. And one of my, it's one of my ex-husband's relatives, but I still consider her mine as well. She had a friend that had a industrial place that needed to have a vacate clean done on it.
Worst place to do a vacate clean on, by the way.
Yes, and especially this one because it was engineering, so everything was black. Everything was black. There was black soot, black oil everywhere. It was horrendous. When she originally rang me and told me about it, she said, I reckon maybe 2 days you should be able to get it done. I just said yes to it. I thought we need the money. It was a good cash in hand little job. So I thought, stuff it. No,
Bet you
I'll do it.
appreciated going back to cleaning houses after
Oh my God, did I ever. So I walked in and the auntie that rang me about it, she said, I'll come and help you do it as well. And I said, yeah, cool. So we've rocked up, and just before I rocked up, she actually rang me and she said, you are going to kill me. And I'm like, fantastic. So her and her husband were actually painting the outside, but she's coming to help me clean. And I've walked in and the owner has shown us around and what needs to be done. And I nearly cried. I literally nearly cried. So I was pretty much working all day for you, and I was still already not very work fit. So I was still hurting. And then I think the first night I finished with you at 2, and then I stayed there and worked until 10 o'clock that night. It was horrendous, and we hadn't even touched, the surface of it. It was horrendous. But anyway, this particular story, I was at the back of one of the work offices, and the whole place was disgusting. So I wasn't in anything flash or anything, but it was also the middle of summer. So I didn't have long pants on. I just had shorts on. And I've gone underneath this table, and it was really, really, it wasn't a well-lit office anyway, but I was actually underneath the table because I was cleaning the bit that they keep kicking with their feet. So I was trying to clean off the table. As I've gone in, I've kind of shuffled my knee, and I've kind of felt something pop under my kneecap. And I was like, oh my God, what is that? And I thought, maybe it was just like a juice container or something, because it was really, really dark. It was nighttime as well, so you couldn't see under the table. And then this smell came over and I thought I was going to vomit. It was horrendous. So anyway, my gorgeous aunt came around and I'd knelt on, I think it was actually a mouse, not a rat, but it was a mouse that had not fully decomposed, so it was still quite fresh, and it had popped under my knee, and it was mortifying. It was absolutely revolting, but the smell, I've never smelled anything like it. So nothing as revolting as that has happened since I've worked with you.
Just wait till you do crime scene cleaning.
That's cool. I can't wait to do it. I can't wait.
If you can handle a mouse, or if you can't handle a mouse, I was going to say, you might struggle with a real person, but we'll see.
Well, because of my background, especially when I was in aged care, I actually had a client have a stroke and pass away on me. So I think so if I can handle that, I think I can handle the crime scene.
Yeah, I don't know if I could handle like an actual person being there, but with crime scenes, they're already removed.
They're already removed.
Yeah,
But no, I'm interested to do it. I reckon it would be wicked.
It would be.
Yeah, I just don't want to wear the hazmat suit and be sweaty.
It's really bad. We did it in the middle of winter, in a room or a house that was fully air conditioned.
Yeah.
I felt like I was running in the middle of summer under like 50 layers of clothes. And I was only in that for maybe 15 minutes and I was dripping with sweat. So I'm not looking forward to that in summer.
Yeah, no.
It's so bad that they say for every 10 minutes of work, you take a 15-minute break.
Oh.
That's how bad it is.
Wow.
Every 10 minutes you'll go out, get the PPE off and then have a break. It's really bad.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, man. But yeah, I want to talk about some more stories we had. And something that I forgot to touch on in the last one was the Optus outage. Was it Optus or was it Telstra? I think it was Optus.
Optus was out. Yeah.
Oh, that's right, because our business phone is with Telstra. Yeah.
Yes.
So everyone in Australia should remember the day that Optus pretty much just died. Went offline.
It absolutely did. It was crazy. I knew because my actual phone is with Optus.
So is mine, yeah.
Yeah, and half of my business stuff is on my phone and half of it is on the work phone. So I've always got two phones with me, and I don't know how I figured it out, but I think I had gone on my, that's right, I had gone on my phone to check something on Jobber and my phone was dead. I couldn't see anything and I was like, oh crap, and I can't see Jobber on the work phone. So I knew something was wrong and I thought, oh my God, what
and
am
half
I
of our staff
do?
were with Optus and they couldn't access Jobber to go find out where they were cleaning. So we just had to pray that people were where they needed to be because they couldn't call us and say they had no idea what's going on. No. Luckily, I think a lot of people were where they needed to be.
Yep. In the end, I think there was only 2 staff that were with Optus, and thank goodness they had looked at their Jobber the night before and I hadn't changed it. So luckily they were where they needed to be. And it turned out one of them didn't know where they were going next, but I had someone that was working close. So I asked them to go there to tell them where they needed to go to next. So for something that could have been an absolute shit show, and at the start it was because I didn't know who knew and who didn't. So I was trying to pull numbers off my phone to ring on the work phone, and then I could figure out who I couldn't get through to that was obviously with
chaos.
Optus. So it was a bit mad. So even though only 2 were affected, I didn't know that at the time. I had 15 that I was trying to think, shit. Yeah. And we were on an initial clean, if you remember.
Yeah, at Cerishas.
At Cerishas. So we were already an hour behind time. It was probably worse than what I had originally quoted it at. So I was already stressed. We're not going to get out in time, rah, rah, rah. And we actually made a killing that day because of it. So a lady had contacted me, and it was just really lucky because she couldn't get through to the other cleaning places that she had names of because of the Optus outage. But because we were with Telstra, I picked up the phone and she had how do I explain this? It wasn't like her client.
Yeah, and then there was like the house next to them was getting
demolished or built, or there was construction.
So they had a ton of dust in their house and they needed
the whole house was just coated in dust. So it was their business that had created the dust, but they were trying to make right. And
they initially had another cleaner booked in, but they couldn't contact them because they were with Optus.
So it turned out really brilliant for us. I think we made an $800 profit right there.
And then we made we got a couple other clients that day. I think we made an extra maybe 2,000, something like that.
So it was a bloody killer for us in the end.
Yeah. We really made lemonade with that.
We did. It worked out very well. But and I'm a little bit impulsive and I'm really, really bad at saying no. So when she rang, we didn't really have the staff to do it. And I thought, I'm not letting this go. So I just rallied all the troops together and we did it and we smashed it and they were stoked. So
really amazing. I'm going to take my jacket off.
Oh, things are getting hot in the studio.
You take yours off so we see the logo.
Oh, sorry, people.
Yeah, you're hiding it.
Enhanced. I'm too cold. It's freezing in here.
Are you? Actually, I'm getting cold already.
No, quickly. It is. It's really, really cold. Yeah, there we go. Now we can see. How's that?
Nice. Got to make people know that I own you.
You own me. Yeah, he does. He does. He said he's going to do the equivalent of getting me pregnant. He's going to tie me in so I can't go anywhere. I said,
it's like when girls, when girls are in a relationship and they want to secure a man, they'll get pregnant. It's like, in our case, it's like I can either do that, or I can give you a lot of money and lock you into a good contract. So I'm taking that route instead.
I'm happy. You can do that.
For the record, I don't want to get any of my staff
pregnant. Oh no! Just putting it. Good disclosure, Jace. Good disclosure.
Yeah, speaking of, I was going to ask about what it's like
if you want to have kids with me. I'm okay.
No. Oh, man. Yeah, that's something I have to be careful about as a male boss with so many female staff. Obviously, because me and Stacey are good friends and I've known her for so long, we could crack jokes like that.
We do.
But I cannot talk about certain things I talk about with Stacey with other people.
And that's right. And like, I said that, I made a joke to someone the other day. I said, if anyone read our message stream or overheard some of our conversations, they'd think that you and I were having it on, but I'm like, we're not.
I've actually shown friends our conversation and they're like, are you? I'm like, no.
She's like,
Stacey's
twice my age.
Stacey's just off her rocker.
Oh, no, I like to have fun, Jace. Life's too short.
We are a great dynamic in more ways than one, though.
We are.
Particularly at our staff Christmas party last December.
Oh, no.
Before we go any further, when we went to Fitzy's,
yes,
when we were at the staff party, what even happened? A bunch of people that I didn't even know rocked up, and there was like an OnlyFans girl.
Oh, it was terrible. It was me. I've got foot and mouth syndrome. I don't have a very good filter, and sometimes that's at my detriment. And one of our beautiful staff, I won't say her name because then this poor person's going to know who we're talking about. But she was cool. She wasn't upset about it at all. Like, she was actually really upfront about it.
Don't worry, they'll never even.
I'm about to say they probably would know her anyway. But one of our staff members had a group of her friends meet us right at the end of the dinner, and they were going to go out. And I don't know how we got onto it, but we were talking about the OnlyFans page, and I had mentioned to whoever was sitting next to me, I think it might have been Shan, I said, have you actually seen the guy who has made OnlyFans? And she goes, no, why? And it was just a conversation that had come up to me a few weeks prior of how well endowed the OnlyFans.
I didn't even know you were going to go in that direction. I was talking about the girl who was there who did OnlyFans.
Oh, no, but that's how I'm going to get onto that story.
Okay.
So you can edit this bit down if you need to be.
No, we'll let people see the real side.
Oh, no, it was so funny. And so I was trying to bring up a picture for Shan of what this guy looks like. And anyway, I was trying to ask who is on OnlyFans, meaning who has an account, so I could show them, because I don't have an account for it.
Yeah, right.
And I don't. But then this girl was coming around and she was introducing herself to everyone. And me being me, I'd had a few drinks and I don't normally drink. I just kind of turned to her and I said, oh my God, do you have an OnlyFans account? Just meaning, do you have one so we can look up this guy? And she goes, she kind of like went bug-eyed at me and she's like, well, yes, I do, but I don't.
She's like, how do you know?
Yeah, something like that. But I don't do it anymore because her new partner was there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. I mean, just, are you on it so I can show someone this photo?
Yeah, so Stacey's accidentally outed some random woman at our Christmas party for having an
OnlyFans account. So only I could do that. But she was absolutely gorgeous and it was nothing even sinister. She was just beautiful bum pics. But and she could sell it. So you go for it, girl. But it was just a very awkward moment and I've had many of those in my life because she has no filter.
It's made for some great stories. And then we all went out to the only club in Bunbury, Fitzy's.
Oh, God. I felt like I was 100 when I walked in. They all looked like they were 12.
If you weren't there, it would have been so awkward, though. All the other staff we went with, they were just like standing in a corner.
They were. They didn't even dance or anything. And me being me, I was a tool.
Stacey's in there going crazy. And then a whole bunch of young girls are looking over and they're probably like, what the hell's going on? And then Stacey just comes over.
Stacey with her cougar.
Stacey comes over to me and she's like, which one do you want?
And I made it happen 3 times.
Yeah. So there was some girls there who I thought were, cute. So I just pointed at a girl and Stacey would dance over to them like something out of a horror movie, like Jim Carrey in Mask.
I thought I was sexy as.
You look like the Mask, and she danced over to them like all crazy, and then the girl looks petrified. I'm like, oh, this is not going to go well.
This is not going to end well.
And then after like 30 seconds, Stacey and the girl start walking over to me,
and he's like, how did you do that?
And she's like, hey, how are you? My name's whatever. And then Stacey did that 3 more times, and every single time
they all came over.
And so Stacey really is the greatest wingman, and that's the point where I gave her a raise.
You could get me women, so you're good. You're good to keep. But it was a great night. It was
that
so
was a
much
lot of fun.
It was
We have a lot of fun together as a team, and
We do.
We've just been nominated for Business of the Year, or we're a finalist for Business of the Year.
Exciting.
So we're going to have a very fun night at the awards night. We're all
Yes.
going to get dressed up fancy and
Yes.
probably drink too much.
And hopefully we don't discriminate. That's not the word. Incriminate ourselves too much that night. But yeah, that'll be lots of fun. And the girls that we've got on our table that night, they're a fun group of girls. So
yeah, unfortunately, my parents and grandparents will be there, so they're not.
Well, unfortunately, that's lovely that.
No, because they're going to see how we really talk to each other.
Yes,
And my parents and grandparents are devoted Christians, and oh man.
Lord, you maybe want to put me over the other side of the table.
They're going to see a side of me that they're not very familiar with.
Oh, no. Well, your granddad already knows a little bit how I am, so that's okay. But
I think he knows enough.
But your nan and your parents might be a little bit worried.
Do you reckon we'll win?
I think we've got a very good shot of winning. A very, very good shot of winning. But I don't know how it's structured, how the finalist is chosen. So
It's a lot of nepotism.
Yeah, look, I think,
favoritism.
as our conversation was before, I think that maybe it may already be pre-selected.
Yeah.
But having said that, even the fact that we have been put up and made it to the finals is a huge win in itself. But I hope we do.
I'm very competitive, so if we don't win, bad things will happen.
You need to practice your gracious loser face. Like,
Yeah, when they announce the winner and the camera's on me, I'm going to be like...
Well done. We need to practice.
But no other finalist in that category has been on national TV. So
exactly right.
We're featured in Forbes USA.
Really?
Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Why are we
I was at a dinner with my friends one evening, and they were just being stupid, and they Googled me because I'd been in so much stuff at that point. And they find an article.
Were you on the OnlyFans page?
And they find an article from Forbes USA that I'm mentioned in, and Enhanced Cleaning is mentioned in. And I'm like, what? And it was like 6 months ago, and I had no idea. I'm like, how did no one tell me I was in Forbes?
My God, that's
And the business was in Forbes as well, and they did like a mini write-up, so that was cool. And then we've been in like Channel 7, Channel 9, The Project, The Today Show, Sunrise, everything.
Like, I just think with the exposure that you've had this year and what you have achieved, I don't see how on earth we're not really pegged for good running. Like, and I know both of the other finalists, but I don't see them doing anything more extraordinary than what we are, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I've got a good feeling about it.
I do too.
Because of all that stuff that's happened as well and all the exposure we've gotten, it kind of just reinforces the idea that we're not going anywhere.
No.
We're here to stay.
We're here to stay.
No one in Bunbury will ever be able to compete with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's even like just phone calls. I had a phone call the other day, and it's pretty much the standard what I get told every time. Just like a cold call, someone ringing to see if they can get a vacate clean or something. And they're all like, oh, you're the first ones that came up. You're the ones with the best, star rating. So we want you. So, like, that's compared to, companies that have been in Bunbury for, 30 plus years.
Well, the biggest cleaning company in Bunbury has been around for 60.
My gosh, that's crazy. And to think that we've already surpassed them in that, area is fantastic. So, and that's all to you, Jace. Like, what you've built is incredible.
I'm very good at the marketing, but the stuff you do is just, I can't do that. That's why we do work so well.
Because I can't do the shit you do. As you know, I suck at technology. She ain't savvy.
Oh, yeah, I know. Stacy can barely open her laptop.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the other night I was trying to. You say it as a joke, but it's freaking true. Yeah. I tried for ages, and I was tired as well. And I was like, why won't this bloody thing open? And I finally turned it around. It's like,
I didn't know you were that bad.
Lord,
but she'll call me, she's like, I can't find my Zoom. My Zoom's gone.
It was gone. It was not on that bloody page.
No. And then I told you, have you searched in the Spotlight? And she's like, what? Spotlight?
Don't know what.
Are you talking about the textile store?
I did not say that. But no, I didn't know what a freaking Spotlight is. And I'm like, oh, that's a magnifying glass.
That's okay. I'll keep doing the tech stuff and you keep doing the people stuff.
The people stuff. But no, we do. We work very, very well together because as I said, I can't do the shit that you do. The stuff that you do.
Thank God I've got something to bring to the table.
You've got more.
Got to make myself valuable somehow.
Yeah, you don't do anything else.
I was going to ask you about sales because you probably don't realise it, but you're actually a very, very good saleswoman. I don't know if you've ever really thought about this, but you're very good at sales.
Well, it's funny because, when you gave me your little list of questions that you might ask me, I was having a little think about them last night, and I've never ever done anything like this in my life before, like in a manager's role. Mine's always been caring for people or hairdressing. And I don't see myself as a salesperson. Like, that's not what I just don't picture myself that at all. But it's funny that you say it because I actually used to work at the Bunbury Mail, but I was their receptionist. Yeah. And I was on reception for only a couple of weeks, and one of the advertisers went to our manager and said, "You need to get her off that front desk. She needs to go into sales." So, funnily enough, I used to be a sales rep for the Bunbury Mail for advertising space.
Surprise. See, some people do see it in you, but then others don't. Like your previous boss obviously didn't see it.
No, it was crazy. So, and I did very, very well in it. But yeah, I think it's not necessarily that I'm good at sales. I just think I relate well to people.
Yeah, you just build rapport so well with people. And that's the thing. People buy from people that they like and they're familiar with. Yep. So your ability to make people like you and build rapport with people is just unmatched. I haven't seen anything like that with anyone else. And so do you remember your first quote that you did by yourself?
No, I was actually thinking about that last night and I do not remember doing my first one.
Do you remember sort of like one of the first experiences where you went in and you're like, shit, I don't know what to do or what to say? And
no, I think because I do have the gift of the gab, I kind of just ran with it. For me, the hardest thing was not actually winning the contract. It was trying to figure out the timing and price for it. That's the bit that's taken me a little bit longer to navigate. But no, I didn't even prepare. Like, from what I can remember, as I said, I can't remember the first time I ever went in. I just think I went in and had the conversation and drew up the contract or the invoice, the invoice, the quote, and won it. So,
and that's really the important part as well. It's the human element is really what sells for you.
So I'm getting attacked by a bug.
Yeah, like when we do online quotes, as you know, our conversion rate for an online quote is like 10%.
Really low.
And then face-to-face, even when I did face-to-face quotes, I would close 90 to 95%. And it's the same with you. You get about 95% of them saying yes. And it's just because you're face-to-face with them. Absolutely. And they can see that you're passionate and you're driven and you're experienced and you're an authority and you can adhere to what they want and you can understand their needs. And once they feel like they're understood, that's when they feel comfortable buying.
Oh,
and that's why I always tell people who have a cleaning business, if you can do it, make sure you do a face-to-face quote.
Yeah,
because that human element makes a massive difference.
Yeah. And I think also just with even just the smallest little things, I try so hard with our clients to make it happen. Even if it's stupid, even if I don't think we're going to make money off it, even if I really don't want to do it because it doesn't necessarily need to be done. As an example, one of our beautiful clients who we had for a very long time, they ended up selling and moving to Perth. And they just out of the blue messaged me and said, "We've got a home open. Is there any chance that you can come through and do freshen up before the home open tomorrow?" Right, this actually happened on 4 occasions before they sold, and I didn't really have the staff to do it, so I ended up going to do it. Didn't really want to because I was trying to get off the bloody floor, but I did it, made money off it, and I don't know if you actually saw the email that she sent to me when she left. Jessa sent it to me because it went through to accounts, and it was absolutely beautiful, and she said, "I just want to commend Stacy on her business ethic and how wonderful she was to deal with." And it's like, I actually never met this person face to face. I spoke to her once on the phone because she forgot to leave a key out, and all of it was just messaging and saying, "Yep, I'll make it happen. No worries, we'll be there at 5:00." And it was really lovely. It's like and that person I actually didn't meet. So
it's messages like that make it all worth it too.
Oh, it does, because I mean, it's a thankless job sometimes, and a lot, like we've got some beautiful clients that are so grateful for what we do, but we've also got others that are not so gracious about things. I'm sorry, I've just remembered a quote that I have to do, and I'm just going to write it down now.
Okay, a cleaning quote?
Yes.
I thought you meant like an inspirational
No.
quote.
I'm sorry. It's just someone that has said yes to a quote, and I forgot to message them back to say, yes, we'll do you next week. We'll do your clean next week.
Yeah, more work. We're just inundated with work.
It's
I was
crazy.
looking at the numbers.
Crazy.
I think in January we had 130 clients, and then the next month it's 140, and then 148, and then 160 and 170. We're up to like 200 now.
It's insane. It is insane. In the last 2 weeks, I think it's 12 initials that we've done.
Yeah.
And it's not slowing down.
And that's why when I was looking at the numbers, like I make really good money for myself. I do live pretty lavishly. But like I don't go overboard. But I'm at a point now where I'm like, I don't need any more money than this. And so I told Stacy, look, I want to share, I'll do a profit split with you. And so I worked out a good number, and I'm going to be giving Stacy 30% of all the profit above a certain amount.
It's very sweet.
And that's because, Stacy really is paramount to all of this now. And you, at the end of the day, even though I'm facilitating stuff, it's really you that's bringing in the money and organising all that stuff. So I want to share that with you.
Makes me feel sick when you say that. It's a lot of pressure.
But it's also going to make you feel like, all the progress you've made up until now, you haven't really been compensated for it. Like, you've been given a pay raise, but for the amount of money that you've generated for the business, you haven't really gotten anything out of it. So I want to change that for you. And that's what we're doing now with the profit split. And I think
it's very sweet of you.
I think as a boss and as a business owner, you need to reward people for the work they put in, and you really need to take care of your key players, because
thank you.
even though I know, like Stacy would probably, even if I was paying you half of what I'm paying now, you'd probably stick around.
I probably would.
She's very loyal, and I know that, but I also don't ever want to feel like I'm taking advantage of someone. So
absolutely, and
I do make sure she's taken very well.
Jason is a very, very generous person, not just in a business sense, but just in life. I mean, to give your car to your mum, not many sons would do that.
That's something I didn't even talk about on TikTok. I don't do stuff for attention.
But I know, and you don't. Like, you're very, very humble. And, even if you weren't doing this, compensation, commission payout that you're doing for
and
me.
even like if an employee comes, like with Elsie, we can talk about this.
Yeah.
We have Elsie who uses a backpack vacuum, but it's becoming increasingly harder for her to use it because it's so heavy.
She's such a slight build.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so she found this cordless battery backpack, and it was like $2,000. And she asked Stacy, she's like, do you think Jason would maybe chip in for this? Yeah. The fact that she goes chip in, not just pay for it. She's like, I'll cover some of the cost of it. And you were saying as well that you would.
Yeah,
and you come to me and I'm like, no, I'll just pay for the whole thing. I don't care.
Yep. You didn't even flinch. And I thought I would have to argue the point. And not that I didn't think you were generous, but I thought more from a business standpoint, if we do it for Elsie, is it going to look like we have to do it for everyone kind of thing? But
and that's the thing with most business owners, to me, it's a simple solution. Elsie has issues with the backpack vacuum. Yep. We buy this for her. It solves that issue for her.
Exactly. And then we can keep her and she can work longer.
And then most business, I'm not thinking like that. But most business owners, they have a solution in front of them, but because they're so greedy and because they just lack empathy for their own team, they just don't do the things that they need to be doing. And
we've seen her struggle for like the last year with her health, and she's finally got on top of that. And, it has taken what's the word? That's the word. It's taken a toll on her body. So, if we can do something to lessen her load, and with how much she generates for, our revenue and how many hours that she does, like, why would you not, make it easier for her if we can?
And I think that's also why we make such a great team as well, because I'm never going to say no to things that I know are going to push us forward.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're always that beacon between the staff and to me that can facilitate this stuff. So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's great when we can do things like that for our team. And like even back to when she was in hospital and I was still giving her pay slips just because, I knew what she was going through. Yep. Where most business owners, if their employee isn't on the floor doing work, it's like they don't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
But then, I realised that, she's got mouths to feed and she needs that income. So I tried to help her out, and she was really grateful for that. And because we've done so much for her, we know we've got someone for life now.
Oh, exactly. And she's always said that. She goes, I'm not going anywhere, Stace. She said, this is my final job. And it's lovely to do it for someone that is so grateful for it. Like, you know, you might do that for someone else and might get like a token thank you, but that's it. But I know how genuinely grateful. Like, she hasn't just said it once to me. She's messaged me numerous times to say thank you and how much she loves it. She said, this is how much she loves it. She got home, put it on, and got her hubby to take a photo of her in it to say how much she loved it. Good. So it was really, really cute. Yeah. And I know it's going to help her because I tried on the backpack and it's incredible. It is so light.
There's other times where it's happened. I can't think of anything specific, but there's been times where they were kind of struggling with something, and then they had a solution in their mind, and they approached us with it, and we just put it into action straight away.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't think twice about things when it's going to benefit our own team.
Oh, well, okay, cases for me, like the big like work bags that we used to use. Yeah. I'm a slight build as well, and carrying all those chemicals.
Yeah, and I never thought about this stuff because I'm like, 6'4".
Like it doesn't affect
male,
you. Yeah. But even something as simple as that. So getting back to that story, I bought a roll-on cart that Jason absolutely bloody hated.
It's stupid.
But it saved me because my body was killing me. But even like for Jason, the mop handles that he's bought for the business, he thinks are fine. And it's only like 100, maybe 200 gram difference in weight. Yeah. But for someone with a build like mine or Elsie or Danica, that 200 grams with a huge wet bloody sheep on the end of it trying to mop is a lot of extra weight. So I've just bought 5 ones of mine that I know that you hate. But we haven't come to a compromise. I just did it because I love those handles. They're so much easier.
I let you have your own liberties these days because I know that you know what we need.
And I think they're $5. If they snap, I'll buy another one. If it's going to help their back.
You can buy them.
Yeah, I'll buy them. I don't care. They're $5.
Yeah, no, I've never cared about spending money to benefit the business, and I don't.
Absolutely.
I haven't actually taken money out of the business. I told you this. I haven't taken money out since November last year because crazy. I make money from. Because I've got the Perth business too. Yep. I've got a school community where I help other business owners. Yep. I've got my TikTok. I've got all this other stuff. I don't actually need to take money out.
Page.
My OnlyFans that people don't know about.
Just jokes.
Or is it though?
Oh, is it? What's the handle?
Girthmaster.
Girthmaster. Oh my Lord. But there is a Girthmaster, so that's going to be copyright. I don't know how I know that.
I've been completely derailed. What was I even talking about?
I don't know.
Now all I can think about is Girthmaster.
Girthmaster.
And unfortunately, I've seen why he's called Girthmaster.
Oh Lord.
And you have too, because you showed the pictures at the Christmas party.
You showed me them. That's how we got onto
right.
it. Yeah. I didn't know
and
about
Girthmaster. When I was with Mrs. Muscle Cleaning in Brisbane, I showed her photos of it too, because she brought it up. True. She was like, "Who is Girthmaster?" I'm like, well, "Give me a second."
Here he is. Oh my God. And she's so little. That's so funny. Oh my God. That's
she said she can't wait to meet you.
I'd love to meet her.
I know you two will get along very well. She's hilarious.
We could be dangerous in the same room together.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't let that happen.
We should all go to the LA conference.
You mean the Vegas one?
Vegas, yeah.
All right, well let's make that a goal. Let's get like Elsie trained to do what you do, and then we can take a couple of weeks off and
we're going to Vegas.
Off to Vegas.
Vegas it is, baby.
Business trip.
Business.
We can gamble on the business card, and that can be
yes.
Let's put the entire business on black.
Perfect.
Great idea.
Great idea. That's not stupid at all.
I was going to talk about things like strategies in the business too, but to be perfectly honest, we don't really have strategies. We just have some systems that we follow.
Yep.
And on the back end, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of infrastructure that works. Like we have our Trainual, and we have our scheduling system and our CRM. But day to day, there is no structure or no process for what happens. It's just...
Oh, really? It's off the cuff.
You just use your own intuition. So it's hard to kind of talk about strategy, but you would be able to have your own kind of anecdotes and things that you found have worked and things that haven't.
Yep.
One particular thing that we can talk about is patterns that we have seen with staff.
Yep.
So we've experienced a lot of bad patterns.
Same patterns.
And it's funny how often the same bad patterns come up.
Yep.
And so one thing we found is that when someone is no longer happy with their job, they first of all, they won't ever tell you.
Yep.
Even if you ask them, they'll say, "Oh no, everything's fine."
Yeah.
But they'll start to show up to work a little bit late.
Yep.
They'll show up even later. they'll start to do
start
increasingly bad work, and you'll get some complaints.
Yep.
And then it gets to the point where like you'll tell them about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I'll pull myself back in the line." Blah blah blah.
Yep.
They make up some excuses,
Yep.
and then it keeps happening.
Yep.
So eventually, you pull them up on it, and it's usually over text because we don't
Yep.
have to do it in person or
No.
anything. We just lay it all out, and you'll say like, you need to be on time. You need to be more punctual. You need to be more careful in these areas. And you'll send a text.
And it's never rude.
It's never rude.
No.
It's very nice. Stacey always runs it by me first. And
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And then always, they don't ever respond.
No.
And then the next day they quit.
They quit.
Every
Yep.
single time. It's like, it's the funniest thing. It's the same pattern every time.
It is.
They for whatever reason don't want to do it anymore. So they just start rocking up late. They don't say anything about it. They start doing worse work, and when they're finally pulled up on it, they just quit without saying anything.
Yeah, and it's
happened like 20 times now at this point.
It is really, really, it is the exact same pattern. And I've always said to the girls, like, I'm never ever going to be angry or,
Yeah, because you are the most approachable person ever, and they still don't talk to you.
Still don't do it. And I said, I'm never going to hold you back from doing something that you want to do. If you've got a passion that you want to fulfill, like one of the girls on the team, I know that she's going to leave next year. She's going to go off and study, and that's fantastic. I'm going to push her to do that because that's her dream. But I know that. Well, it's actually Lauren, but now she's left because of her wrist. So, but she told me straight out, and I said, because I asked her, I said, I've been in this position before where people are training up. They're just waiting for something else in the wings, and then when that comes up, they leave and leave us in the lurch.
And that's actually become the biggest trait I look for, is just people's transparency.
Be honest. And she was brutally honest. And I've always said that to the girls when they start training. I said, if you ever get to a point where you're not happy or you're wanting to look for other work, please speak to me, because if it's something that I can fix that we're doing to make your job more enjoyable, I will do that. But if it's because you want to pursue a passion, I'm never going to stop that. I will encourage you to do that as long as you be respectful to me and Jason and give me enough time to train someone else to take over your spot. Which never happens. They literally do it the morning of.
So we've had to develop systems that allow us to always churn people at a quick rate. And so we've had to kind of overcome that, and now we've learned that pattern and we've adjusted to it.
It's taken us a long time to learn that pattern, but
we've gotten really good at this. This is a really good skill that we can carry with us in a lot of different areas of life too. But I was going to ask, are there any other patterns that you've found with clients or staff that you've kind of picked up on over the years? Like clients that don't say anything, that aren't happy, that you can kind of pick up on, or just anything?
No, like do you know what? Clients are actually a little bit the same.
Yeah, I found that too.
Yeah, there's no real warning. There was one in particular that, had a few complaints and then she pulled. So that one didn't surprise me so much.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yeah. She was a bit strange.
She was a bit strange, and she had extremely high expectations. She wasn't just expecting a normal standard clean. It was things that you do it for a vacate clean.
And some people just don't care. Like, I gave her a free clean every time.
Yep.
I lost so much money because I would just straight up give her a free clean because it was subpar.
Absolutely.
I don't think it was ever like bad, but
no.
it wasn't great. So I'd give her a free clean. But to her, like, she doesn't care about the money. She just wants it done perfectly every time.
And I understand that.
So she pulled the pin.
Yep.
And like, we do follow up with people and ask for feedback, but most people just don't say anything.
Yeah, it's literally the other one that just messaged the other day, please stop all services as of now. And I actually reached out to that person, sent an email and said, I'm so sorry to see you go. Thank you so much for your loyal support for Enhanced Cleaning. Please, if there's any feedback that you can provide to make our service better, or if this is just a personal reason, I'd love to know. And, was quite respectful about it, didn't hear back. But most of them, and like, we don't really lose clients because of our service. It's either they're moving or financial strain. Yeah. But there's no warning. It's literally like another one just recently who kind of only just come back to us again. We do have a lot of clients that fall on hard times, they leave, then they come back again, then they fall.
College Grove.
No. That was another one that I was talking about, but this is the one that has 2 houses on the block. And she literally messaged me the morning of saying my husband isn't happy paying this money anymore because I'm only working part-time. Yeah. And I actually didn't see the email, because if I'm messaging, I don't.
It was pretty ridiculous of them to do that the morning of, and we have policies for cancellation, so it's like well, we're going to charge you for that whole service anyway.
Sharon had already cleaned. By the time I'd seen it, Sharon was already there cleaning. And I was like, well, no, you're going to pay for that service because you can't tell me. Well, at that time, it probably would have been about 45 minutes before Sharon was due to start.
And did she ever reply to that email?
No response.
Yeah,
but did she pay?
Yeah, she paid it and then moved on.
Yep. But so that was weird. And they'd only just come back on. We'd got their house back to immaculate. And I think some people do little Swifties where they're trying to get it perfect for sale and then they're saying that they're coming back and then they've gone.
I've had lots of that. I've had people promise me where I did a vacate clean for like 20 hours and just absolutely killed myself over it. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to get you in for fortnily cleans at our new place.
Yep.
Never hear from them again. I follow up and they just don't reply.
Yep. It's pretty disheartening. But look, we really have been very, very blessed, I think, with the clientele that we have. Yep. They're all very loyal. They're all very honest. You know, if they are not happy with something, a lot of them just cop it on the chin. They'll let me know, but they won't expect to reimburse.
It's usually something very, very minor anyway.
Yeah, it usually is.
So we can address it well.
Exactly, unless someone just hasn't rocked up.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, luckily not luckily because it's systematic, but we have such a good training system now, and we take the time to really make sure people are right to go out on their own before we send them off. Whereas a lot of other cleaning companies just give someone a mop and bucket and they say,
go for it. Yeah, pretty much.
Go at it, yeah.
Well, I had a lady actually, which one was it? The older lady that we've just put through to come in for a trial. Yeah. She messaged me. She said, oh, do I get training days or am I out on my own? And I'm like, oh, God, no. I said, you have at least 2 weeks with someone, chaperoning you and showing you the system. So that really shocked me, but it's not the first time I've heard it. I was going to say something there, but it's gone.
Yeah, that's another reason we do so well in the residential market is because, first of all, it is a hassle.
Yeah.
But once you've done it for long enough, it becomes second nature. So most companies that do commercial and make millions of dollars, they don't see the point at that point going into residential because it's so low ticket. And then, furthermore, it's just so much hassle trying to schedule people in and managing feedback. And so we just have complete domination over the residential market.
We do.
And it's like our bread and butter at this point.
Well,
we can clean houses so efficiently and so well, and we do it to a really high standard that other companies just can't compete with.
Yeah. And that's fantastic because, I remember you saying, not so long ago that you want to go after the commercial market. And I was worried that you were going to drop the residential. And I was absolutely don't do it because it's your bread and butter like that. It doesn't matter that we're not making a huge profit on it. It's just, as I said, it's just bubbling in the background to keep us
it's really good cash flow too. And it's what's got us to $1 million.
Yep.
It won't get us to, 3 million, but it's always going to be there and it's always something we can fall back on. And it's always going to be giving us that consistent cash flow and work for our staff. And so I would never think about getting rid of that.
Exactly. It is so much more work. As Jason was just saying, the industrial stuff, you just do it and you leave. One of them, we do have a bit of to and froing, but most of them, I don't hear from them. We do our job, we leave.
We've got some Spencer Signs in Bunbury. It's like a little signage shop that we clean.
Never heard from them.
I've had them for like 2.5 years and they never say anything. They just pay their invoices and that's it.
The only time I've had to make contact with them is when we had to do our latest increase.
The price increase.
And that's the only time. And then once over Christmas when I had to ring them to see if they were open and if they needed their service. Yeah. But so they're really great because I don't have to deal with them. Like once we win the contract, that's it. Unless maybe they've run out of stock or something like that. But very rarely I have to deal with them. But residential, it is daily.
Absolutely,
I am dealing with not just the staff either being locked out or they can't open a door or they're scared of a new dog that's arrived or the keys in a different spot or the garage door's flat and they can't get in. It goes the other way. My child's home sick, so don't go into bedroom 3. I've got a new puppy, so there's puppy pads. Put them up on the bed and leave them.
And it's a constant struggle. But the thing is, if you want to be better than 99% of people, you have to do what 99% of people don't want to do.
Exactly, and that's where I come in.
So all these other companies that, sure, they make millions of dollars commercial, they don't want to go into residential because they know all that hassle. But because we've been doing it for so long, and we've built such great systems, we can do that effortlessly. And it is now our bread and butter. We can do this in any part of the world. We can go from nothing to what we are now just with this, and we know it's always something we can rely on.
Oh, absolutely, exactly. And look, it is work, but that's what That's what a job is. It is work. Like,
And we still have the commercial stuff, and we love commercial.
commercial's great. It is
Like
awesome.
they don't hassle us; they pay really well.
Yep.
But the residential, we're just so good at it that we're obviously never going to stop doing it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think a lot of them, like for me, especially when I was on the floor a lot more, because I did come from NDIS and aged care, I still kind of feel like I'm in it because we do have a lot of NDIS DVA clients and aged care. So I still feel like that I get to see them and I get to see if they're sick and when they get well again. And because I am such a personable person, I still have that with all my quoting and stuff. But on the days that I am still on the floor cleaning, I love talking. So
I try to tell Stacy
nice.
to just completely take herself off the floor, but
It's never going to happen.
but you do love to be amongst it.
I do, and I am a little bit. I'm OCD. I 100% am, and I find it very hard to let go of the reins. And as much as I trust the girls, there is things that I generally see that a lot of people don't.
Yeah, and it all works in the end because there's still me. There's still, you've got Elsie on the ground and Tegan and other people that you can call on. So
absolutely.
like we're a 7-figure business and we don't have an office. We don't need one.
We don't. We really don't.
We still operate off a phone.
My couch.
And a laptop. Like Stacey can work from home and do all that stuff.
Yep.
And it works a lot better than all these other massive companies that have offices and massive teams of staff because we have such great systems now in place.
Exactly. And how we were just looking at, maybe getting an office and,
the only reason I was thinking about getting it is because, we got the money for it. We may as well. But there's no real reason we need it.
I thought about it afterwards and I thought, well, it's only going to be me sitting in there with my laptop by myself.
You may as well just stay at home.
Yeah, I can have my heater on and have a cup of tea when I want to and stay in my pajamas if I can't be bothered getting dressed. But I thought about it and I thought, it's lovely that we've got the opportunity and, we're able to do that, but don't waste your money.
And I kind of like being the black sheep of the industry. We'll grow to 10 million and not have an office.
And I'm doing it from my little 2-bedroom unit. So.
Which is going to be much bigger soon.
Yes. Can't wait to get property. You
still haven't seen my apartment, have you?
No, I haven't.
Next time you come to Perth, you need to see.
I do.
It's even smaller than your unit.
Oh, jeez. That says something. But, it makes you humble. Like, you saw my married home and as beautiful as what it was, it's certainly humbled you to have to go backwards to what I'm now in. But I love it.
And now you know that the trajectory you're on, you're going to be much better off than that.
Absolutely. And I'm very grateful for it. I'll even build you a granny flat out the back so when you have your next accident, I can nurse you.
Care of it. Yeah.
We're not even going to jinx that. That is not going to happen.
Yeah, touch wood. I think this is wood. Yeah.
But Malin mine close enough. Oh, no.
Yeah, no. And I do love, like with the residential, you can do NDIS and DVA. I do love that aspect of it because we can help people so much.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people who are NDIS cleaners, they take advantage of their clients and they just don't treat them well. And time again, I hear stories about NDIS clients who are mistreated, who are taken advantage of. Horrible. And so every time we get a new NDIS client, I feel relieved knowing that we're taking care of them because I know what a great job we do and that we actually care about them.
Absolutely. Like I worked in the, nursing field in NDIS and
you were in the trenches.
So I did that as part of my actual job doing that. And NDIS I never cleaned. I was a diabetic specialist for the patients or the clients that I had. So I didn't really see it so much in there. But for aged care especially, you are hired to not only be their nursing care, but you're their domestic, you're their social. So you take them out on outings, you might change dressings, but then you clean their home as well. There's like so many different fundamentals of that job. But because you become so close with these clients, all they want to do, because majority of them are so lonely because they
just want to talk.
They just want to talk. Yeah. So they will literally say to you, sit down and have a cup of tea with me. Don't worry about cleaning the bathroom today. I would never do that. I'd make a cup of tea and make them a cup of tea and say, come in with me, you sit on your bed, and I'd have my cup of tea in there and clean the shower.
Most other people would be like, oh, yes, So
they sat down. And it used to frustrate me so much because then the week when I was on domestic, I would have to go in and get it up to standard when the people for 3 weeks prior had been doing nothing.
And I've seen that out in public. Like I'll go bowling and I'll see like, you know, a support worker has taken their client bowling and the support worker's just looking at their phone the whole time.
They don't do anything with them.
It pisses me off. Because
it's a babysitting service. Yeah. It's awful.
And they're not even just paying attention. They're getting paid good money.
Very good money.
And they're not even paying attention.
Yep. And it's very sad to see that because, as I said, I worked in that industry for 19 years and I met some amazing support workers that were just absolutely phenomenal. And then I saw others, the younger ones, because the money is so good, what you get paid for that job, they were literally there for the pay packet. And these clients are being neglected 100%. And as I said, you know, a lot of them don't want to work. So when they are on the domestic duty side of it, it doesn't get done.
And we've seen a lot of that in our business where we've gone into homes where they're just not being taken care of, given the proper care that they're supposed to be getting from their support workers. Horrible. And we've then had to step out of our own field and approach the like support coordinators and be like, hey, they're not getting the care that they are entitled to, first of all, and that they actually need right now because they're living in
squalor,
a disaster zone. Yeah.
And that was, I know exactly which one you're talking about. And
well, there's been a few, but there's one that certainly sticks out.
Well, I actually had to go to Jason and say, I need to pull it.
And I had no idea. Like I used to look at the job photos because our cleaners take photos of every job.
Yep.
And the photos they would take, it looked fine, but it's because the stuff that they weren't able to get to, they couldn't take photos of. Yeah, those were the really bad areas.
It was literally squalor, you know, sanitary items, used sanitary items.
Like you would need PPE literally to clean that.
You would. And when I, you know, because I have worked in that industry.
And this person's supposed to have a full-time support worker.
Full-time support worker. So when I rang, I took it upon myself to actually ring the agency and I said, look, I'm really sorry to do this, but I said, we are going to have to pull our services. I said, I'm not going to send my staff into this environment anymore. And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, look, I don't know the last time that you visited this client, but I said, may I ask how much support she is getting? And that's when she told me that she had full-time 24 care.
Yeah, ridiculous.
And then I sent her through the photos of the last service that I had gone into and we didn't actually clean. I took photos and I said, leave, we are not cleaning it. So we didn't actually fulfill that service. I rang her straight away and told her that we weren't doing it, sent her the photos and she was absolutely mortified.
I hope that person got let go.
I hope so. And I said to her, the only reason I took this upon myself is because I used to work in this industry and I said, this is heartbreaking to see. We had another one actually out in Brunswick, which was a DVA.
Yep.
And same thing, it was literally hazmat suit, stages. It was awful. Myself and beautiful Tegan got in there and did it twice and it was absolutely horrendous.
And then, and every time Stacey tells me about this stuff, I'm like, you should have just straight away told me and we would have pulled
I wanted to help them. He was suffering terribly with PTSD from his time serving our country and they also had 2 children that had special needs, so they were on the DVA and NDIS services. And when I walked in and I saw it, I can't leave this. So I actually gave him the chance to rectify it. And I told him, I said, with the job that I used to be in, I said, because I'm still accredited, I said, it is actually my job to report this. And I said, I can get into trouble if I don't report it.
Yeah, and these people get angry. And usually when we try to help, and it sucks, but it has to be done.
He was actually really lovely about it, but I don't think he maybe had the mental capacity to hear what I was saying. So I said, I'm going to give you 1 week. And I said, by next week, if that room isn't cleared out and what was in there was removed, which was kitty litter, basically his son's floor was actually the kitty litter tray. I said, if this is not removed, I'm going to have to report this. And I came back next week and it was worse. And I had to pull it. And it was horrible. And now I just think...
did you get an angry email from
the wife? The wife rang me. So I don't know how she got my phone number because for DVA,
that's right.
DVA, our numbers are not allowed to be listed to them. But she contacted me and she was actually quite abusive. And I explained to her the situation and she was going on and on about how her child had special needs and now you're taking that away from them and, she's got sensory issues. That's why the same pillowcase is still on there. And I said, your daughter's bedroom and bedding is black.
Just completely ignoring the elephant in the room.
Yep. And, it was all my fault for cancelling it. And It played on my mind for a few days because that's just the person I am, and I felt sick about it, and I felt really bad that now that these poor kids aren't living in a semi-clean home.
Yeah, and look, you have to also understand that the people that have mental issues going on, and like the wife obviously did too, and
yes, yeah,
it's blindingly obvious to us that that's just unacceptable, but to them, and even in the situation of hoarders and squalor homes, it's just like they can't detach themselves from.
Oh, exactly. It's not their fault. Like I didn't have any disgust for these people. I genuinely wanted to help them.
And they just don't understand that, which is, it can be frustrating and sad.
Really, really sad.
But it's a part of our job, and unfortunately, we're people who actually care.
Yes,
whereas a lot of people don't.
A lot of people don't, and sometimes that is to our detriment. Like the other day when I rang you and said I have to cancel it. Oh, I keep hitting the microphone. I won't go into it too much because it's very touchy, graphic. Very graphic, very touching, but it was a domestic violence situation, and I just rang you straight away and said, I'm really sorry. I know we've only just landed this job, and it was an NDIS, so it's always a good little bread and butter, a job to win, but I said I physically felt sick when I left that home.
Even just you telling me about it, it made me feel uneasy, and I was at the shop getting my suit fitted for our awards night. And so I'm on the phone with Stacy, and she's like, you told me all that stuff. And I just said, cancel it.
And that's so sad because, this person is in dire need of help, and obviously just more so someone to talk to. And because she would have been quite happy for me to not do anything and just sit and listen to her for that whole time, which I did. The other two poor workers had to do it because she wouldn't let me go. But it's really sad because when same thing, I rang her support worker and explained the situation, and she said, I'm really, really sorry that you were presented with that. And she said, I have worked with her for a year and that has never, ever been disclosed to me. And I said, well, you're actually putting my staff in a very, very vulnerable position. There's a lot of...
Yeah, our government just likes to throw lots of money at problems and ignore the fact that these people actually need help, and money isn't just going to fix it.
Well, this person actually had to go and seek professional help herself when they already knew what had happened to her in the hospital because of the domestic violence. Why she wasn't offered psychological help from what she went through is criminal.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Absolutely criminal. So, my heart went out to her, and I felt really bad that I had to cancel it, but it's about our staff, and I would not feel comfortable putting anyone into that home.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of businesses just don't care about this stuff, and they will still subject their staff to it.
Oh.
And I don't want to toot my own horn or anything, but you and I are probably the best bosses around.
Oh,
We
hands down.
You bend over backwards for people, and I am so I'm so diplomatic, and I can reason in any circumstance, and I always give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yep.
And somehow we still get backlash from people.
Yep.
And so it makes me wonder, like, all these other jobs where everyone's got a story about how shit their manager was.
Yeah.
Either that's not so true, that's not really the case.
Yep.
And then on the other hand, it's like, if they really are that bad, how are we still struggling? With how good we are with people, but we are in a good spot now, and I'm really happy because I knew it was coming. even when times where you probably didn't see it too.
Oh, there was sometimes you kept saying the lights at the end of the tunnel, Stacy. I'm like, I can't see any freaking light, Chase.
This must be that tunnel in Switzerland.
The longest tunnel in the fucking world.
Yeah, see,
Oh my God! But it has been a journey, and I have shed a lot of tears. I've had a lot of sleepless nights, but
a lot of personal stuff that's seeped into the business.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like, the whole year for me has been so much change between leaving my 17-year marriage, moving into a new home that isn't exactly where I ever saw myself to be, to becoming a manager, which I never, ever thought I would ever be in my whole entire life. It has just been such a terrifying but such an amazing year all in the one thing. It's just been wouldn't have wished upon my worst enemy, but it's been very good. I wouldn't change a thing.
And you really are an amazing mother to your two daughters, Lana and Charlie. They're really, I can tell when I'm around you all that they really do love you, and
thank you.
You're a great mum, so you do really well in the home and in the business.
Thank you.
You should be proud of yourself for that.
I try hard, and it's a very, very hard juggling act, and I'm certainly not perfect. I make mistakes all the time, but you just have to try and learn from them and be better.
Look, we got one shot at this life, and you may as well do something fun and interesting with it. So, and I think we're definitely on a track to do really great things
and to go to
together.
Vegas.
Yes, Vegas. That's gonna be our big payoff after all our hard work.
Absolutely. No, I think, from when I first started with you, I mean, I'm not going to say just a cleaner because it's the hardest job in the bloody world. But I was ground level, and I never.
People don't really see any opportunity in this job, and that's something I've always tried to change.
Yep.
And now I think we've got that, where a lot of our team are actually, they kind of share the same vision as us, and they know where we're going, and they know there is potential for them, not just us.
Absolutely. And I've said that to the girls, especially my girls that I've got into the training position now. Some girls are happy just to do the job, and that's great. Like, that's wonderful. We need those people. But, Tegan, who's in the same position as me, I know that once her children are older, she's going to want something to sink her teeth into and grow. And I can see that in her. Elsie's the same way. Her babies are about to leave the nest, and, she's got the same work ethic as both you and me. And I know that she sees the potential of where we can take her as well, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and we've already, when people show promise like that, I do not hesitate to give them raises. Like, we put, Stacy, I mean, obviously you've got...
me, obviously.
Yeah, we've got Elsie, Tegan and Sean.
Sean to come. Sean to come.
Sean's up next. And then there's someone else, but we've given people pay raises, and we don't shy away from that. And, when you got those people, you want to hang on to them, because...
Oh, absolutely.
It's difficult to find someone like that in the first place, but if you lose them, it's much harder to find someone else to replace them than it is to just take care of them and retain that employee. So
people are going to stay where they're happy and they feel valued, So it's a no-brainer.
I think we take very good care of people now. We've got a very good thing going.
Yep, we do. I think everything that we've implemented this year, as I said, we don't really have strategies, but they're just things that...
Yeah, we have overarching systems that we kind of do everything inside of, but we don't have a checklist for things. No. We don't have a process for things.
And you can't really with this.
That's where people get lost. People always come to me, other cleaning business owners, and they're like, do you have a process for this? Do you have a procedure for this? I'm like, not really. You just have a system that you do it in the shadow of, and then you just kind of use your own intuition, and a lot of it is just being a human.
Yep.
With the cleaning business, you're doing quotes, you're face-to-face with people. Yep. You've got to be personable. Absolutely. With staff, you need to be personable. It's a lot of that.
Also with staff.
It's hard to just be like, oh, yeah, you do this, and that. These are the steps. You can't do that.
You can't really train it. It's, I was thinking about
you can guide people.
Yeah.
And you can use these systems like we have and all these different frameworks. But at the end of the day, you just need the right people in the right places.
You do. You absolutely do. And, even just the day-to-day work, I have people that I know that I can put in certain areas where they're going to shine. People think cleaning's cleaning. It's not. I've got girls on our team that there's no way I'd put them in for a vacate clean. Yeah. Because...
Well, it's like the book, The E-Myth. Have you read The
No,
E-Myth?
I haven't.
Well, it basically outlines 3 different types of workers. There's the technicians who are just really good at what they do and they don't want to do anything else.
Yep.
So we got people like that who are really great cleaners but would never want to do anything besides that, even training. Yep. And then we have the managers. Yep. So people who are really good at managing people and cultivating that environment. Yep. And then there's the leader, someone who is able to steer the whole ship and guide the company. And I feel like I never thought of myself as a leader, but I think I have a good vision for where the company needs to go and where it should go.
Absolutely.
And I'm constantly, even though the team members probably aren't seeing it, but I'm always making adjustments and changing things to change the trajectory of our ship.
Absolutely.
And I knew that the moment I met you, you would be a great manager. And I know you would be a good leader too, but your strength is probably in people management.
Yep.
So I think that having you in that role has been pivotal for us, because I wasn't as strong in the management side, but I am with the kind of leadership and business development side. So we do have these different kind of categories and buckets that we put people in. And if you try to take someone who's a technician and put them into a management role,
it doesn't work.
They're going to hate it and leave. So
exactly.
it is about identifying people's strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly right. And, you know, I always take heed with it. Like sometimes I have to put the girls in a position where I know that they're not going to be very comfortable. And that's just, there's nothing I can do about it. That's all we've got for the day.
And it can be good to see how they react and how they deal with it too.
Sometimes they'll shine in it and you don't expect
it. Can surprise
it.
You, yeah.
Exactly. But if I know specifically, please don't ever send me to that house again and I have to, I'll always apologise. I'll always say, I'm so sorry. I know that you're not comfortable with this. It's just the situation we're in today. Can you just help me out? And 9 times out of 10, they will. They will jump on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's, you know, I've got to say that about all of the girls. You know, I say, well, I won't say I complain, but yeah, I do. I complain about,
Yeah, you're a complainer.
I'm a complainer. I complain about, you know, when the girls call in last minute and stuff like that. But as I said, that's from a management point of things because it's so hard to shuffle everything at the very last minute. But all of the girls, everyone on the team, when someone is sick, when someone is on holidays, if we're understaffed, they all jump in and help. They all do. There's not one of them will. Like sometimes they have to say no because if they've got commitments. But I know every single one of them. Like especially when you had your accident, I could count on every single one.
And I don't really see that, but I know it's happening because you know I'm kind of removed from the team.
Yeah.
And you kind of act as a mouthpiece for all the stuff that happens.
All the crap that's going on.
So I don't really talk to people individually, but I do know about everything that happens just by proxy of you talking to me.
Absolutely.
Telling me. But yeah, I know we've got a great team and we wouldn't be able to move forward, especially at the pace we're moving at without that.
Oh, absolutely. Exactly. And I think it's only, you know how we had the conversation the other day, how it's only going to get worse the bigger that we get. I think it's honestly gone the opposite way. Like, yes,
before I grew the business, I was like, if I just get more people, like the more people I have, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
And then we got to the really rough stage was like probably 12 to 15
12
people.
to 15.
Probably 15 people was probably like the worst.
Yep.
Because we needed to get to 20, but we just kept going from 12 to 15.
Yep.
And I was like, the bigger this gets, the worse it's going to be.
Yep.
And now we're here. I'm like, well, actually, the bigger we get, the easier it's going to be again.
You've got more people now. So, you know, we had just, when we got to 15, we had just enough to get by and fill the tasks that we had.
But there's no growth potential in that.
There wasn't. And then as soon as someone left, we went straight back, 5 steps backwards. But now that we're on the other side of it, we've got the extra people now to play with. And I think also, the biggest strategy or change that we've made is not hiring someone 5 days a week. I think that's made a big change.
When we talk about strategies too, like, there are certain strategies that you will kind of come to realize after doing it for so long.
Absolutely.
For us, one of the big things was not giving people full-time work straight away. If you give someone 5 days and they're great, then awesome. Yep. But if you give someone 5 days and they feel like it's not right for them, they feel like the job is not right and they go somewhere else,
we're screwed.
They start calling in sick 3 days a week, we're screwed. Yep. So, a strategy that we've adopted is we don't give people more than 2 or 3 days a week.
Yep.
And then, if you have a whole team of people working 3 days a week, someone calls in sick for their 3 days, we've got 20 other people who've got 2 days free and we just say, hey, would you like to
Would you like an extra day this week? Yep. And it works so much better. Unfortunately, all of them are at the end of the week at the moment and I need some that want to do the front of the week. And
that's just the constant juggling game that we have to play.
It is. It really is. Scheduling's getting harder because there's so many more to juggle.
Just looking at that calendar makes my head spin.
Some days I look at it and I just close it again because I'm like, I just can't look at it for another 5 minutes.
I've told you I'll take over again. I'm good at the scheduling.
It's my baby. You said it used to stress you and you're too bad at travelling.
Oh, yeah. That's because I don't care about
I know, but
profit.
I do.
Yeah. And you're going to have to because you're going to be getting the
profit
share.
I know, so I want to make sure they're travelling 2 meters, not 2,000. But, obviously as the business grows, there's things that get harder and scheduling is definitely one of them. Not so much once they're all permanent team members, it's not hard to do. But at the moment, because I'm trying to juggle so many trainees into it and because they don't have their own job and name.
Yeah, I think we've hired 10 people in 2 or 3 weeks.
2 weeks, it's crazy. That's really hard to manage and it's hard to manage how many days they've done, how they're going, if they're ready to go out. And that's hard too, going from 5 days. We used to train someone for 2 weeks for 5 days at a time and they were out. Now, because they're only with us for 2 or 3 days, it's taking twice as long to message because I just saw that twice as long to get them out on the floor. But yeah, as I said, in regards to scheduling when I need something filled, that is a lot easier now because I've got more people to play with. But yeah, there's always going to be highs and there's always going to be lows. But
yeah, and you kind of have to just go through these trials and tribulations to get an understanding for what needs to happen next. And there's a quote that I like from my old business mentor. He says, you know, the best education is the school of hard knocks, and then the second best education is the school of prior learning. So learning from someone else who's been through all of that. And we've gone through the school of hard knocks.
Definitely.
We now know what works and what doesn't. Yeah. And so we're going to be able to take a step back and then just kind of consolidate and create more systems and frameworks that we can then kind of build the business around in these different areas that we've found all the cracks in. But you're not going to know that unless you do it. So, and every business is different. So you just have to go through that. It's a necessary evil.
Yeah. And I think it's, you know, like, because we are going so many different places every day and you're dealing with so many different people, like, you know, if you're in retail, you're only dealing with the 2 staff that you've got and you're only dealing with the customers that you have coming in. You know, we've got travel to go into that as well, and, you know, so many different places every single day. So many moving parts
in this business that people don't realise. That's
what I'm trying to say.
Which is why when we had an employee leave and start her own thing, I told you she's not going to last 3 months. And it's been like 3 months and the page has already been pulled. Yep. And it's because of all this stuff. But you and I know that now. And
but even, you know, touching on that, it's funny. I don't even know how to word this.
Even with like customers, we have to educate them on all these different things that go into making the service because they don't understand it. It's like I've gone to a mechanic once and they have this massive poster on the wall that says our labour charge is not just our labour, and then it has these 50 different things that go into the cost of their service. Yep. And it's like we have to educate people. Yeah, well, it happened the other day. Quickly going back to it, I didn't realise how much was behind the scenes until I started managing. And I was like... Holy and you still don't see the bulk of it. No. The accounting side, which I still manage.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, like,
I don't want to do that.
There are lots of costs involved. My insurance went up by $18,000 and it completely caught me off guard. And so I had to pay an $18,000 bill. God. Just like things like that you don't account for, but you do it once and it's like, okay, well, that's not going to happen again. And then you get to the next roadblock and you overcome that and you're like, well, that's not going to happen again because I've been through it. Yeah. It's that over and over again. It is, but you saying about clients and not knowing what goes into it. You know, I've even educated, you know, some of our staff on it as well. Yeah, you know, with what else we pay on top of just your wage. But I had a client the other day where I said to her, I will give you a quote for a fortnightly service after your initial, but we may have to amend it because I said with the structure of your house, because it's very segmented. It's a bit like Cindy's house. It's very, very disjointed. It's a new one on the Strand. Oh, yeah, I know
that. So I said to her, look, this is just a ballpark. I said I may be able to shave some off it because there's only the 2 of them living there, but I said it may go the other way. I said I don't know until we actually do the clean. I said, are you happy with that? And she goes, yep, that's fine. She, bless her little heart, the people had only just left and she rang me straight away. Oh, they've left under 2 hours, so can you shave my quote? And I'm like, oh. I said, oh, hello to the lady. And I said, look, I said, I'm so sorry. I said, I haven't had a chance to touch base with Tegan yet. I just want to have a word with her to see how the clean went, if it worked better with 2 people or solo, rah, 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 rah. And then she said,
I did look at that and it was like they did 4 hours, but I worked out that the money we made from that was like
nothing,
40 an hour. And so I would have lost money on that. She was still calling you up like, can you shave time off?
Yeah, but she still didn't get it. So I said to her, she goes, oh, but they were gone in 2 hours. But I said, love, you need to understand that that's actually 4 hours of work because you had 2 staff there. Yeah. And I
know. It seems so simple. I've gone through this before where they're like,
don't get it.
I charge someone 4 hours for an initial clean. They're like, they were only here for 2 hours. I'm like, how many people were there?
Yeah.
She goes, 2.
Yep.
So what's 2 multiplied by 2?
Yes, exactly. But they don't get it. And then I said, you know, we also have to counteract or like, you know, figure in, you know, their travel costs and then we've got to pay
equipment costs,
their
we've got insurances, we got workers' comp,
Exactly.
super, everything. It's
Yeah.
just the costs don't stop
They
stacking up.
don't. And that's
And
what
then
I
the
said
government
to
likes to come in and take 40% of everything too. So
ridiculous. But I said to her, I said, the clean that I've just, that we've just serviced is actually worth $270, and you've got it for this amount.
that probably made her fall out of her chair.
She
when
didn't.
heard
She
that.
no, she didn't. She's like, oh, that's good. Oh, we'll just keep it as is then, shall we? And then hung up. So I'm like, well, no, I actually have to revise this because we're losing money on this clean.
That's funny.
So,
yeah,
yeah.
I was going to bring that up with you actually.
Oh, well,
that
yeah.
exact clean.
But yep. So I have to somehow word it so she understands it. She doesn't realize how great a deal she's getting. So next.
Yeah, we've had a few people like that, and
Yeah.
some of them are receptive to it, and then some of them just aren't. And people always ask, like, how do I do a price increase? I'm so scared to lose the client.
Yep.
The reality is, you need to do the price increase, and if you don't, you're losing money every time you go there.
Yep.
If you do it and they aren't happy with it and they leave,
Yep.
you're still in the same position.
Still the
You're
same
still
position.
losing money, except you now have a spot open where you can get someone in.
A chance
at the
to
new
build
price.
more. Exactly
Yeah.
right. And it's discouraging. Like even, when we just did our CPIs, we actually only lost 2 people because of that.
I was very surprised.
And I thought there was going to be a lot
I
more.
thought we were going to lose 20 with how many
Yeah.
clients we have.
Exactly. But even those 2 stung. Like for me, and I'm not even the business owner, I was like, no. And one of them was my own fault. And,
yeah.
But I didn't, I
I
actually,
didn't care about that.
but I didn't tell you, I actually never contacted them again because I hated they were difficult to deal with. So I was just
Not
like,
the IT.
no, the older client out in Eton or Australind.
You'll have to tell me after.
Yeah, I'll
this.
tell you afterwards. But so I never contacted them again because it was a pain in the ass clean to do anyway.
Oh no, yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
The weekly one.
Yeah. But it's still, because that's the growth that I've made, it still pissed me off. I was like, no, how dare you leave? And the one in particular that was extremely back and forward, the IT's other one.
Yeah. And this person was getting the best deal ever.
We have literally paid her to go and clean her house the whole time that we've had that client, and she still couldn't see the value in what we were
We
doing.
were probably making like 35 an hour on that, and then paying 2 staff the equivalent of 45 an hour after all expenses.
It's crazy.
And this is like, these are people that aren't exactly tight on money. So
No, that's what I couldn't understand.
I was very surprised when she came back and was so hesitant to do any sort of price increase. And what did you end up doing? You had to really compromise. Didn't you?
I had to haggle. So basically,
Is it the same price or is it increased, but you have to leave
she wouldn't
things out?
allow any increase, not even the 3.7.
Not even the
CPI,
3.7.
no.
And she's been on that for years.
Yep. So I've pretty much had to cut half of the clean. And I said, you do realise that your discrepancy is only $20 a week because it's fortnightly. I said, the increase is literally $20 a week out of your budget. And now you're going to have to do half of the clean yourself. I said, do you not see the value in that $20?
Well, that's a really good way to phrase it too.
Yeah, and she couldn't. She's like, she just says that's a huge amount of money for a 2-hour clean. I said,
It's not.
But I said, it's not a 2-hour clean now. I said, even with me taking off that, now I can only put one person on that service. And I said, but they will be there for 3 hours and they will be running. I said, you know the size of your floor plan. But she just,
Yeah, massive house.
but just couldn't see
It's
it.
frustrating when you get people like that. But
Yeah, that's actually the one that, I won't say irritated, but confused me the most. I was like, I don't quite know how else to word this for you to understand what you're getting is an amazing, amazing deal. But yeah, so we'll see how that one goes because they've been on holiday, so it hasn't actually happened yet. So
Yeah, and luckily, we've got so many clients that if we lose one or two, it doesn't really matter to us.
It does. It still bloody hurts me though. Like
It's going to hurt you more when you're getting the 30%.
I know, right? And it's a personal thing for me. It's not even about the money. It's just like,
Yeah, I
No.
still take things personally even to this day. Even though I don't get emotional, I will take things personally.
yeah, I know it really bugs me. I'm just like, no,
Yeah.
how
Like
dare
I've had
you?
clients in Perth that I clean for that, like when I had my car accident, I just said, hey, can we put the cleaning on hold for like a month or two?
Yep.
And then I had 2 people just cancel and be like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll just,
Find someone else.
no, not even that. They just said, oh, we'll just go back to doing it ourselves. I'm like, oh, all right then.
Oh, okay, fine. You do that then.
Yeah. It's always,
Yeah, it's weird, and like it shouldn't be personal because I know the ones that we've just recently lost. It's literally a financial thing for them, or they're moving. So I know that it's nothing even to do.
and a lot of them,
with
it's
us.
like I said, we're losing money on it if we go there.
Yep.
We're losing money if they leave, except on the other hand, we have more resources we can use to,
pick up something better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But it's still, I don't know.
It still hurts.
It does. It's ridiculous.
It's like
I'm
breaking up with a girlfriend.
It's like, no, how dare you leave me? It's really strange. And the first one that I ever lost that was like one of my original clients that I'd put on, I was like, but
how
why?
could you?
But why you do that? She goes, well, I'm moving to Perth. I'm like, but still, like, why? It's funny. But yeah, we've got so much growth this month that I don't know if we will end up in front this month because we did lose a lot of just little I think we're pretty much just
breaking even.
Yeah, which surprises me because, as I said, the amount of initial cleans we have done for the last 2 weeks, I'm like, how the hell are we breaking even? We should be so far in front. But that's the name of the game sometimes.
Yeah, we're still doing really well and we never go backwards.
And that's,
not 1 month since we started, we have not gone backwards.
Exactly. And you think of how many businesses fold in their first 2 years of running.
Well, 90% fail after 10 years or 5 years, something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's likely to happen.
Especially not in Bunbury. We're way too far ahead.
Oh, exactly. Like the monopoly that we've already got is just crazy. Yeah. It's absolutely
Don't
crazy.
say monopoly.
Why not?
Legal reasons.
Oh, we're not allowed to say that.
No,
sorry.
It's not.
Monopoly.
We're not. We technically do, but we're not big enough for anyone to care.
Well, yeah, exactly right.
It's not like we're a Woolies, and they're not even doing anything about that yet. The Woolies and Coles monopoly.
Oh,
yeah.
We'll just keep saying it. Monopoly.
Someone called me the fucking monopoly man. One of my clients, I rocked up and they were like, "Oh, you must be raking and you're like the monopoly man now." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, but don't say that."
Yeah, but shh. No,
Stacy knows how generous I am with.
He is.
I don't hoard it.
No,
I don't need it.
You don't. Apart from your stupid cars, but we'll talk
about
that
that's the
later.
only thing I'll spend stupid money on.
Oh no, it's
so
too
that's my
funny.
own. That's my own.
But to say you can do whatever you like with your own money.
No, we're doing well, and I'm glad I've got someone on board like you who recognises that we are going places. And
absolutely can see.
Even the rest of the team can see it too.
Oh, absolutely! Like you can't deny the growth. Like even though they're not seeing the numbers and stuff that we see or seeing how much
they can
work
just
they
feel
put
it as well. Yeah.
Well, and they're always going to new cleans all the time, so they're like, well, obviously this is a new one, so yeah, you can definitely see the growth, which is fantastic. But
we've gone through all the hard stuff, and we now have everything in place that we need to take it to new heights. Yeah. So I'm very excited.
Oh, it's extremely exciting, and I really don't see any situation coming our way that we haven't already been dealt. Like we've had some pretty shit stuff happen. And
I've had some terrible stuff happen that you probably don't know about when I first started it.
Go on, tell me one.
Well, actually, you know about the vacate clean? Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, you called me to try and smooth it over.
Quick story, I went to a vacate clean. I started at 4 a.m. because I knew it was going to be massive. I started at 4 a.m. on Friday and finished at 2 a.m. on Saturday. Or maybe, 4 a.m. Saturday, finished at 2 a.m. Sunday. Then slept for like most of the day. Thought I did a good job in the end. I called my dad and my sister to help and paid them some cash. So altogether, I spent like 22 hours straight, no breaks, not even for lunch or dinner.
God.
And then my dad and sister helped out for a few hours. Next day, I get an angry call saying that I've done a horrible job. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I called Stacy. I was like, hey, could you come help? I missed some stuff here. As soon as I get to this house, this woman is yelling in my face. Yeah, and like literally this far away from my face, yelling. I can feel spit hitting my face. And Stacey's just watching like.
Oh, so I didn't know how to approach. I was like, oh,
and like
shit.
I'm young at this point.
Yeah, you were like
I'm young
17,
now.
18. Like, it was crazy.
I was like 19 and I looked young. And I'm like, this is just a kid he thought he did a really good job and you're yelling in his face. Yeah. I came back straight away to fix it as well.
It's not like you said no.
Yeah, it's not like I just ghosted them, but it was. So that was one experience that really rattled me. But
that was very
same as always. I went to sleep that night just not caring.
And I was stressing. Oh my God, did I get that bit of pasta off the wall? Like, she was next level. And I don't know if you remember that she contacted me.
No.
Yeah.
She booked a quote with me and then I told you about it.
That's right. And then I remembered the address and I said, no, we're not going. But she did email me. And I don't know how, but someone from our hospital cleans had referred her and she said, I have seen the work that you've done at the hospital And she goes, I'm actually quite disappointed with how quickly you've written me off.
Yeah.
I never said.
And you saw that attitude come out straight away.
Yep.
It's like, that's why.
That's why I'm not coming back to your house.
We know it's the same person.
Yep. And I came up with some excuse. I never said the reason why. I kept it diplomatic.
How stupid she was to book the same people. How did she not recognise it was me? Especially now that like my face is everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't understand how she didn't realise it was you. But yeah,
I would have loved to actually do it and then go there and do the initial clean. We should have done that.
I was tempted to just do it, but because I know
I'm gonna go drop a pamphlet off in a letterbox with my face in the centre.
But even after you left, like, because you left me there to finish off,
I wanted to.
You just wanted to leave, and fair call. Like I was like, you just need to leave. She absolutely ran you to the ground, and
she got physical with me. She told me like, oh, can you got to clean this shit over here, and I was like, all right. I went and cleaned it. I didn't argue or backchat or anything.
Yep.
And she grabs my arm and yanks me as I'm walking off to go clean this one thing. She's like, no, I got to show you this room too.
Oh my God.
It's like, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened.
And it was horrible because like I was still new to you. Like I don't think I'd been with you for very long at that stage. A couple months, yeah. And she is like just completely berating you, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to sit in here and agree with you. Like, so I just had to kind of like nod.
Yeah, like she's telling you like, oh, isn't he such a fucking idiot?
Yeah, and I was just...
You see what he's done?
Yeah, this is so unprofessional, isn't it? Like, would you keep it like this? Or like, why is it? And I was like, what the hell do you say? And I'm just trying to clean. I just wanted to get out of there because it was so uncomfortable. And also remember that the new owners were in the house.
Yeah, they witnessed everything.
Yeah, they had already taken over the house.
She was the new owner.
Oh, she was the new owner.
And then the old people were there.
Sorry, it was the people that sold it. And they even like whispered to me when she walked out, I am so, so sorry that you guys have been called back. And I said, oh, look, I said, it's all good. I said, we just want to make it right. Let me know.
And we did.
And we did. It was fine.
There was no need for all that, but we're going to deal with that.
Crazy.
Luckily, though, the business is in a good spot now.
It is.
We've gone through all the hard stuff, and now from here it's going to be easy. And we're going to make lots of money. And we're going to make lots of people very happy because we do a very good job, and I'm very proud of the work we do.
Oh, I am. I'm so proud of the team. Like, yes, with everything, there's days where some things might be missed or might not be as great as the time before, but we're human. We all get exhausted. Some days, you know.
For the amount of people we have, it should happen way more.
Oh, and it doesn't.
We're down to like maybe, one complaint a fortnight.
If that.
Across hundreds of clients.
And half of them aren't even.
It's not even a complaint. It's just feedback.
Feedback. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. But because the other day I had to put someone on a clean that she doesn't normally do. Mm-hmm. And there is a little bathroom that's kind of nooked away and she missed it. And she said, oh, I'm not upset. She goes, don't even worry about it. It doesn't get used, but I just thought I'd let you know that they missed it. And it was nothing.
And we've got clients who are that understanding because they know how hard we work for them and how much we care about them. Absolutely. And that you're so personable with them. And so,
I'll always fix
it's really
it.
Great. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? As I was talking to you yesterday about this one client who she's the one that I hear from the most. There's always something that has been missed there, and her expectations are very, very high. And
extremely.
Yeah, and so be it. Like that, she's paying for the service. Her house is already beautifully clean. But I think if it was any other business, she would already be gone.
Yep, 100%.
She would already be gone. And, she's never, ever asked for a discount. So as I said to you, I said, please just give her 50%. I don't want to lose her because it's a great little money earner. Do I think that the 50% is warranted? Not really, but
I understand her side
absolutely.
of it, which is why I don't hesitate to give
exactly.
Like that,
so I thought for this one, let's just suck
and just
it
to
up.
clarify, because people might not realise just how small it was. It was like watermarks on the chrome fittings on a tap.
Exactly.
And I gave 50% off for that.
Exactly.
So if any of my clients are listening, don't.
We are not doing that for you. And it was a little bit on a shutter, but like for any other person or any other house clean, they wouldn't even see that. But she has very high standards, and that's great. Like and I think I can empathise with her because I have that same level of cleaning. So as you said, a lot of other people. That's what they're getting.
You're a real clean freak.
I am. And it's funny because I'm not at home. Like, that's just my level of work.
It's also funny because your car's disgusting.
My car's not disgusting. No one sees my car. But, it's my work ethic. It's not so much that I'm a clean freak. Like, anything I did, even when I was hairdressing, they always used to say to me, stop. Like, I'd finish the hairdo and I'd go back to do something and said, you're too pedantic. Stop it.
I've had to tell you that a few times.
Yeah, and that's just my personality. If I'm going to do something, I need to know that it's done perfectly.
And that's what's great about you as a manager. It's why I love you as a person, and you're a great asset to the team.
Thank you, Jace.
And I appreciate you taking the time out of your Saturday to do this with me.
It's always been fun. It wasn't, I didn't have to be so nervous. I was going to say something else then, but I was going to retract that very quickly.
It was so easy. And
it was fun. Thank you.
And if you didn't do it, you would have been fired, so.
You wouldn't fire me, boy.
I don't want to have to come back to Bunbury and do what you do.
Deal with the daycare.
Is there anything else you reckon we should touch on, or anything you want to leave people with?
I don't know.
For the two people listening at this point.
The whole two people. I bet you it's not. I don't really have anything else to add.
Yeah, we did cover a lot.
We did cover a lot. But yeah, just a huge thank you, obviously, to you, because without the knowledge and the experience that you have, we wouldn't be here where we are today. It doesn't matter what I do as a manager. You're the one that kicked this off. You're the one that has the dream and the vision. And, you could be just like any other boss and say, fuck you, I'm taking all of the profit, and you just do your job. But you have been more than generous with what you give to me. And for that, as I said, and I'll say it a million times over, I'm forever grateful. And as much as I whinge and bitch, I do absolutely love my job. Like, this is one job that I have done that I have never had a day where I have just wanted to ring in and say, I just want to stay in bed. Not once. And for someone to say that under the stress that I'm under every day is pretty phenomenal. Yeah, it says a lot.
I really appreciate that. And
it's my pleasure.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something nice.
It was obviously shit.
It's I mean, before I started this business, I've never had a job, and I was just like some kid who played video games all day.
Did you really not ever have a job before you started this?
I applied to a lot of places during COVID because my grandparents were like, hey, you're 18, you need to get a job.
Yeah.
So I applied to a lot of places like Subway, Bunbury, Sports Power, the Flight Centre. I got 2 interviews, which went horribly because I was terrible with people. And so I didn't get any jobs after applying to over 100 places. And so I started this business. And at that point, like I honestly thought I was like a failure, to be honest. And so I just wanted to make decent enough money to be independent.
To live, yeah.
I never really expected to be able to get here. But after a while, I kind of realized that I had something. And then I brought people on board, and I was like, I'm actually having an impact in other people's lives. Wow. And that was the coolest thing for me. And then seeing what you've been able to do after joining us has been crazy, more amazing. And the people who own this studio have just arrived. So this is a good time to end. This is perfect time.
Well,
but yeah, this has been amazing.
Thanks for having me on your special show.
Thanks for letting me drag you here.
You nearly had to. I nearly pulled out. I was like,
it's been amazing. I love talking to you, and I love you as a person. So
same back to you. Thank you, Jace.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up here. And
absolutely. And you see our baby in 9 months.
The baby is the business. The business baby's going to be massive. It's going to be a big baby.
I don't want to be a big baby carrier again. Thank you.
You're not carrying it inside of you, but it's going to be big, and I'm excited for the future.
I am excited too.
Thank you for listening to us rant for probably 3 hours at this point. Hopefully, I'm going to make her do this again because this is great.
We will. It's fun. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks.
See ya. I can't believe